At 7 a.m. now on Local 3, we are following breaking news overseas. The full-scale assault on Ukraine is happening right now.
Russian troops have invaded Ukraine. We know at least 40 people have been killed in the early attacks. President Biden will be addressing the nation at 10 o'clock our time to detail the U.S. response and what we expect will be more sanctions against Russia. Meanwhile, Denver 7's Veronica Acosta joins us from our newsroom this morning, tracking some of the newest developments from around the world, including a shocking video from Ukraine.
And it really is shocking video, Brian. At 10 a.m., that's when we're expecting to hear from President Joe Biden just 3 hours from now. And so far, America's role, it's been very limited in this. We do have reports of soldiers from Fort Bragg being deployed to those Polish border checkpoints with Ukraine. President Biden and the administration, they have repeatedly said that American troops will not be involved in fighting. The border crossings, those are really important. You see it there. Thousands, maybe millions of Ukrainians trying to get out of harm's way right now. This video is showing you just that. Those people with suitcases, backpacks, anything in their hands, making phone calls, getting on buses, cars, trying to get out of the country as fast as they can. And here's a look at what they're trying to get away from. The damage in the streets there in Ukraine, those explosions overnight. This is not a limited invasion like Russian President Vladimir Putin said. This is major. You see those skies lighting up. You see that dark smoke. And there are some of those most sobering images. People praying in those Ukrainian streets, 8 of them just there, hoping for the best this morning. It's why the UN Refugee Agency is urging some of those neighboring countries to keep their borders open to those Ukrainians who are trying to find the safest place to go right now. And of course, we're bringing you updates on this all morning long. You can stick with us throughout the show this morning for that. We're in the newsroom. I'm Veronica Acosta, Denver 7.
Thank you, Veronica. Certainly hard to imagine what people in Ukraine are going through right now, trying to get a handle on this Russian invasion. We spoke to a woman here with family who still lives there. She says she's terrified just working to get in touch with her loved ones.
It's like something out of a horror movie. I mean, it's the worst nightmare scenario. They do have bomb shelters, and she said they're all packed and ready to go if and when they feel they need to. We asked them maybe they could travel to the west, maybe to safety, but I don't know. This is so dire. It's so gruesome and so scary.
Colorado lawmakers are responding to the invasion, and just in this morning, a French press agency is reporting that Russia says multiple sites have been destroyed in Ukraine, specifically saying that 70 military targets and 11 airfields have been destroyed. Senator Michael Bennet is calling on the U.S. and allies to punish Russian President Putin for his unprovoked aggression. He's calling for more sanctions, exploring opportunities to support the Ukrainian resistance and to support democracy and the rule of law. Representative Lauren Boebert, meanwhile, is calling on the Biden administration and Congress to regain our energy independence. She wants the U.S. to export more of its own clean liquid natural gas to European allies. Boebert says taking those steps will tame inflation and strengthen democracies throughout the world. Again, we'll be updating you with every new development that comes into our newsroom throughout the morning, here on the air and on our website, thedenverchannel.com, and our Denver 7 mobile app.
Well, it's a Denver 7 weather action day as well as we take a live look from our mile-high camera across downtown. A fresh layer of snow out there, trying to get that sun to break through the clouds. We are warming up ever so slightly today. Lisa Hidalgo joins us with what to expect temperature-wise.
It's a little warmer than yesterday. I mean, we're still down to near zero in most neighborhoods, but you're right. You can see where skies are going to start to clear out here pretty soon. We saw another wave of snow roll through this morning, making for another slick morning commute. Now our third slick commute this week, and now that is starting to clear out and move east. And so behind this, we're going to see statewide some clearing skies and more sunshine this afternoon, and it'll get a little warmer. Take a look at our wake up forecast. We should be in the double digits, right around 10 to about 12 degrees by 10 o'clock, and then near 20 it looks like by noon. We'll hit highs right around 20 to near 25 in Denver. Highlands Ranch, Parker, Castle Rock, you're all right around 26. So we're getting closer to freezing, but we're not going to be there, it looks like, until Saturday afternoon. In the mountains today, highs in the teens. Coming up, we'll take a look at the big warm up. We're going to pretty much double, if not triple, some of these numbers here by the weekend and into next week. And I'll show you that warm up in just a few minutes.
We've had problems all over town. The road conditions are way worse today than they have been over the last couple of days. Take you up north where we have a big crash northbound I-25 right there by Berthoud. Take a look from the camera up there, and it was a rollover crash where this truck is on its side right here, and then these guys went right into the top of the car. So imagine being in your car, you're flipped over, and then somebody crashing right on top of you. So that's exactly what happened here. One lane is open, one lane is closed. Even on the southbound side, somebody spun out and went into the grass there. So some delays, unfortunately. Take a look at the other trouble spots for us here this morning. Heavy traffic into downtown I-76. 270 has been running extremely heavy. Look at the camera at I-70 in Central Park where we had somebody in a pickup truck spin out here into that left side. So still very slow. And you can see how much snow cover we have here compared to the last couple of days. So it is way worse, unfortunately. As you look at the rest of the drive times around town, including out in Aurora and down to the south side of town, way heavier than we've seen over the last couple of days. And over here in Aurora, that's where Christian Lopez has been driving around, checking out some of the side roads. Where are you now, Christian, and what does it look like?
Yeah, Jason, we've been driving around all morning and we just got into Aurora not too long ago. We just passed the library. Let me show you what the conditions are looking like out here. Let me turn the camera around. The roads here are definitely a lot more slushy than what we've seen in other areas like Denver and Lakewood this morning. We actually just saw a car that was having some issues going up a small hill. So definitely it's hard to tell if these roads have been plowed or not. We can tell that drivers are having a little bit of a harder time in these roads compared to what we've been seeing earlier this morning. We're also starting to see traffic pick up more as people are starting to head into work and going to school. So we're seeing a lot more cars on the road. We're going about 25 miles an hour in an area that's typically about 40-mile-an-hour area. So we're not going as fast as we were going in some of the other towns this morning as well. So cars are definitely taking their time out here. And we haven't had any issue with our windshield. You can see it's totally clear. We're not seeing any snow coming down right now. So if you're headed out and you're going through Aurora this morning, just keep in mind that these roads are slushy and just make sure to give yourself some extra time before you head out. We're going to keep driving around and continue monitoring these road conditions for you. I'm going to send it back to you guys in the studio.
All right, thank you, Christian. As a reminder, you can track the conditions in your neighborhood anytime by downloading the Denver 7 Plus app. That's free for your Roku, Apple TV, Amazon Fire Stick, and Android devices. ATF agents are helping Westminster firefighters figure out the cause of another home explosion, the second one in Westminster this week. 8 townhouses along Sheridan Boulevard were destroyed by a fire yesterday afternoon. Investigators say 2 residents and a firefighter suffered minor injuries. People in nearby homes told us they could feel the heat from the flames.
It was just a giant plume. The whole sky. And then with the wind, it was coming just this way. So all the ash on the ground and everything, it was just coming straight at us.
Everybody's trying to help each other out, man. Grabbing dogs, moving them out the way, carrying old women down the sidewalk and everything.
Yeah, fortunately, no major injuries, but we still don't know what caused this. Westminster police say the complex had hired a construction company to work on water heaters and furnaces. Not clear how that might be connected. The scene was just 2 miles away from the deadly home explosion that happened on Tuesday on Knox Court. Investigators do not believe the incidents are related.
Denver says it will no longer require city employees to be vaccinated against COVID-19. That requirement will end March 5th. It was put into place last fall when COVID cases surged, but the director of Denver's public health department says the city's COVID positivity rate has dropped below 5%. The health department does say those who were fired for not complying will not get their jobs back, citing their career service rules. Federal and state vaccination mandates remain in effect for workers and people in certain settings, including medical facilities. Meanwhile, the CDC has adjusted its vaccine recommendations. It now says some Americans should wait up to 8 weeks between their first and second dose, twice as long as before. The CDC cites studies that show the extended time frame might help improve vaccine effectiveness and decrease the slight risk of heart inflammation. New metrics to guide COVID-19 restrictions could come tomorrow and will likely include an adjustment to recommendations for mask wearing.
Boulder County announced it will be removing the foundation of homes destroyed in the Marshall Fire as part of its debris removal program. That's expected to start next week on March 1st. A Louisiana-based company was awarded the contract to help with the cleanup. The company thinks they can get things done by July if the weather cooperates. The fire destroyed more than 1,000 homes. City and county leaders have already requested reimbursement assistance through FEMA to cover the cost of debris removal. They estimate that'll cost between $35 and $40 million. And the foundation removal is not part of that request yet, though the county is hopeful FEMA will agree to cover that cost as well. Jason.
It is still very cold, very snowy, and pretty tough driving here in town. It's also tough driving out of Ouray. You can see right now on Highway 550 from Ouray all the way down past Silverton to about the Purgatory Ski area, all closed down because a heavy snow that they've had down there. Also, Highway 160 has been closed down. I-70 outside of Palisade has been closed down. So we have some very tough driving conditions, not only here in town, but other parts of the state as well.
All right, thank you, Jason. Your favorite local eateries are coming to the airport, the new places where you can relax and grab a bite before your flight.
And more options when it comes to enjoying the great outdoors in Denver. How your ideas could come to life.